Hi, good day everyone. The aim of this tutorial is basically to look at how to use Adobe Reader X once you've downloaded and installed it on your computer to be able to do digital annotation. So we start the process by opening Adobe Reader X, and as you open it you will see that it gives you a list of recent files that you've already opened using Adobe Reader X. Now the nice thing about this section over here is that if you're using it for note-taking and general study purposes, your manual should basically all appear there. But if it's the first time you're using it, you go onto File and you click Open, and it should open your Documents library, and you can choose a document there that you can open in Adobe as long as it is a PDF document. Now in this case I'm using one of my manuals that I use for lecturing. So if we go to page 13, and this looks at communication theory and looking at a specific section which I always encourage my students to focus on as the epitome of communication, which is basically the definition. And standing in front of a classroom, I always watch my students take out the highlighters, paging through the manuals. And the sound is disruptive. But at the end of the day, there's also a lot of highlighting and a lot of scribbling, and it's not always highlighting the crucial part of the information. And the nice thing about digital annotation is that you do not waste lots of highlighting or time and effort. It's all in one place, and you can actually follow along without much effort, and you will never forget your highlighters at home. It will all be there with you. So I focus on the definition. And I would say to my students, it's very important for the exam, and they would literally take out the highlighters and start highlighting. So to highlight, you would click on the icon here with the T and the highlighter, which is highlight text, and you would then select the information that you'd like to highlight. And focusing on the definition of communication, I would tell them that there are two theorists that they would have to know. The one being Cleary and the other being Steinberg. And then they would start highlighting definition, just like I am doing now. And it's just literally highlighting the text. If for some reason you realize, oops, hang on, I've highlighted too much, you can click on it again and you can delete the information if you've highlighted information that is not useful, something that you can't really do if you're doing it with pen and paper. But we all know that we don't only just highlight text, we also like to make notes. So I know, having watched my students, if I say this is incredibly important, the pens come out and they write NB next to it, or verbatim incredibly important. And you can do the same in Adobe. You just click on the Add Sticky Note, and you put it on the page where you'd like, and you can then make a note. Now if you click and place it there, this can move wherever you'd like. You just click on it and drag it where you want on the page, and it will link up. And in this case I would say NB for the exam. Yeah. And it will stay there. And once you move your cursor over the speech bubble, the sticky note will appear as you typed it in. Now, you don't only need one sticky note on a page. You can have more than one. You can click on the speech bubble again, and you can literally put sticky notes wherever you need to on the page. It would, for example, be a 5-mark question, but also 10 marks if you combine the two. And I find that the students like to know those type of things, so that's what they write down. You'd also do activities in class where you'd be asked to quickly summarize something, and instead of grabbing pen and paper and writing it on an exam pad, and at the end of the day the exam pad goes missing and you can't find your notes, I prefer to have everything in one place, and Adobe Reader X allows you to do that too. You have a pen icon here that says Sign, Add Text, or Send Document for Signature. And if you click on that, you'll see that your sidebar opens and you are able to add text. Now, to add the text, you can then click on the page and you'll see that a little icon starts flickering, and you can then start typing any notes that you'd like. Communication, and you're not limited as in any Word document. And the nice thing is that you can fix your spelling. You can highlight it just by clicking on it. Oops. And you can change your text color. You can have different colors if you need to go on. If you want a different font that's going to stand out, you can do that too. You have all the fonts that you would from Word, like the Listendia handwriting, and once again you can choose any color that you want to add to it. So it's a nice add-on to have if you'd like your notes to stand out a little more. Now, what happens a lot, as I said, notes go missing, and if you click on the comment section over here, you can see that you have a comment list. So all the comments that you have added to your document will appear here, and it will tell you whether it is a sticky note in the case there, or highlighted as I've done here, and as you click through them it will tell you what you've highlighted. Now if you've added text on your sticky notes, it does exactly the same, and here you'll see that it's an empty block. Now that does sometimes happen because we randomly click on a page. It's not to worry, you can just literally delete comments that you've added blankly just to maintain it. And if you see, that means very little to me if I have to study, because it's just an example, and you can take those out too. So at the end of the day, all your notes appear in one place, and it's very simple to find. If, for example, you say, hang on, I know that I said something about the exam, what was it? You can find it by just typing it in to the block here, and if you look back, it does say find, and if we type in this case summary, it will tell you everywhere where you have made or typed the word summary in your notes. So your notes are always easy accessible, and you can find them quite simply. So from my perspective, it is an invaluable tool. Now if you've done editing and adding your notes and you'd like to close it, you have two options. You can save as a PDF. I wouldn't change the format, it's simpler to keep it in PDF, and you can save it on the day that your lecture was, so that you know that section of work specifically related to that day. In my case, I just literally click save, and it will save over my previous document. The nice thing about that is that I don't have to keep different documents or different tracks. As soon as my lecture progresses or my notes progress, I don't have to keep wondering where was I. It's always there, and I'll always know what page it's on. So once I close, it will ask me, do I want to replace it? I will say yes, and it would save my file, and I can close the document. So that was a brief introduction to how to do digital annotation. I hope you found that useful. Thank you very much.